We continue to encourage a diplomatic resolution to this issue. And as diplomatic efforts continue this week, we are in absolute agreement that the 21st century cannot stand idle, have us stand idle and simply allow the borders of Europe to be redrawn at the barrel of a gun. If, in fact, diplomacy fails, what I've asked my team to do is to look at all options. What other means can we put in place to change Mr. Putin's calculus? And the possibility of lethal defensive weapons is one of those options that's being examined. But I have not made a decision about that yet. I've consulted with not just Angela, but will be consulting with other allies about this issue. It's not based on the idea that Ukraine could defeat a Russian army that was determined. It is rather to see whether or not there are additional things we can do to help Ukraine bolster its defenses in the face of separatist aggression. But I want to emphasize that a decision has not yet been made.
All right, so there was President Obama talking about Ukraine. Now, I'm going to reach out to somebody who is more knowledgeable on what's going on in Ukraine, but I do recall reading, it hasn't really been in the news a lot, but I do recall when it first blew up, what had happened is that Ukraine had elected a president who was, pro-Russian. He was an ally of Russia. Now, he was democratically elected. And so then, if I recall correctly, and again, I'm going to try to get on somebody who's more knowledgeable, but if I remember correctly, they overthrew his government, forced him out. He was democratically elected. They forced him out. He ended up leaving the country and seeking political asylum in Russia. And so then, those people rightly upset that the democratic process had been corrupted by the West, by the United States in this what you might call a bloodless coup or coup, so to speak. And, so they've been kind of like, the ones that were pro-Russian and then the ones who are pro-West, they've been going at it. They've been having little armed skirmishes and things of that nature. And so anyway, though, for President Obama to sit up there now and again, remember, he is the black face on white supremacy. His job is to make sure global white supremacy stays in place. His job isn't to help non-white people, although non-white people should be pressuring him just like they pressure anybody else to address issues that are important to us, to address issues of injustice. But, let's make no mistake who he really works for. Okay, he don't really work for us. And so that's why, we like what's his name? Frederick Douglass said power concedes nothing without a demand. And so we have to make our demands known. But for him to say, redrawing borders by the force of arms or at the barrel of a gun, that's the United States, man. And I'm sure he knows that. President Obama is not a stupid person. I don't know if he wrote that or somebody else put the words in his mouth, but they came out of his mouth. And so you just think about what they did to Libya. All right, using proxies to overthrow Libya to get rid of Gaddafi so that they could arm those Syrian rebels and also get at that sweet crude oil, because Libya has the most prosperous or most productive oil fields in Africa, and Gaddafi was, doing a whole lot of stuff. And we got, Alex Newman coming back on, I believe it's either Friday or sometime next week. And we're going to talk about that. But yeah, they did that. All right. They've been using force of arms using proxies, to try to overthrow Syria, going all the way back to the Bush administration when he named Syria as the axis of evil. So again, it's like a broken record. I understand I sound like a broken record sometimes, pointing out the hypocrisy of the United States, but, I have to do it. It's my job. It's my job as an independent news producer who looks at these things objectively, and I have to tell the truth. I have to give you my honest critique, my honest analysis. And so those words that just came out of President Obama's mouth, nothing but straight up propaganda, straight up BS, and like those people, you've already corrupted the democratic process in their country. And now, so they're taking up arms. They're taking up arms and saying, no, we're not going to stand for this. And, we want to separate from this puppet regime that the United States and Europe has propped up over us. And we want to separate from them. Now, the, international law, under the UN Declaration of Human Rights, people have a right to self-determination. So if those people have determined that you have corrupted their democratic president, got rid of the president, process, and got rid of the president that they duly elected, then by any means necessary, they have a right to assert their self-determination. But the thing is here is Congress now. Here's Congress. You hear President Obama talking about, we might send them lethal arms because we've been sending them all this money. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but we have been sending them all of this non-lethal aid. I don't know how much money that has amounted to, but now Congress has already, just that quick, has passed a bill authorizing over $350 million. Okay, I found the information. They've already given the Ukraine puppet government $120 million in non-lethal aid. And, now they have authorized the Republican-controlled Congress. Again, I'm sure Democrats voted for it too. But now the Congress has authorized, let me see if I can find that figure again. $350 million. So in total, they have given them $500 million? What is that? That's $500 million, right? That's $500 million. And where did they get this money from? How are they paying for this? We always hear that rhetoric coming from, Republicans about, when the president proposes, jobs programs or infrastructure programs and things of that nature. Well, how is he going to pay for it? Well, how the hell is y'all paying for all of these arms that y'all keep sending out? And I'm a write the congressman over my district. Remember, I didn't say my congressman because we need to get that out of our head. They don't work for us. They're supposed to work for us, but they don't work for us. So I'm going to write the congressman or give his office a call over my district. And I'm going to say, how y'all paying for this? Show me in the budget. Where is this in the budget? Where did you get this $500 million from just to be given away? And while we on the subject, what about all these billions that you give annually to Israel, Egypt, and everybody else? How are y'all paying for that? You're mortgaging my grandson's future, and I'm going to see what they got to say. But anytime it's something that's actually going to help some people, like a jobs program, like, rebuilding America's infrastructure, all these bridges breaking down and crashing and all of that and killing people. You opposed to it. You want to know how we going to pay for it. But then you opposed to raising taxes on the wealthiest people. But you keep finding billions and billions of dollars, and whether that's straight up money, whether that's in equipment, whether that's in military weapons, like they passed that special legislation last year to arm the Israelis who are running out of bullets to kill Palestinian men, women, and children. Oh, they came up with some money quick. So how are they paying for all of this? And then, they're using all this Cold War language and talking about, we got to send a message to Putin and all that. All of this is nothing but theater. This is to keep feeding American tax dollars to the military industrial complex, all of those private corporations who make these arms. War is profitable, as H. Rap Brown, said all those years ago, decades ago. War is profitable. And when has the United States not been engaged in some kind of military conflict, sticking its nose where it doesn't belong, and just wasting all of this money, but yet you ain't got no money to address the needs of all these homeless people in this country, all of these veterans who got messed up, going off to war to carry out the corporate global agenda, racism, white supremacy, misguided. I'm not going to criticize them too hard. All of them ain't a bunch of racists like Chris Kyle, cause we got some brothers and sisters in there too. And they have been brought in through the poverty draft because they can't get no money for college. So like me, all those years ago as a 20-year-old, this is the only option left to us unless we want to go into debt like my sister did and still paying off, student loans decades after you gotten out of school. So yeah, but where are they getting this money from? And why can't the United States mind its own business and stop sticking its nose in everybody's business? All right. I do think that, we have, one of the, scheduled guests on the line. Hold on real tight. I'm going to take a short station identification break. And then when we come back, we will change gears and talk about what is going on in, Baltimore right now. We'll be right back.